Welcome, everyone. Today, let's talk about food, but maybe not in the way you're used to. We're going to peel back the label and look at something truly incredible, the direct conversation our diet has with our body's chemistry. So let's dive right into this fascinating link between what's on your plate and, you guessed it, your hormonal health.
You ever have one of those days, or maybe even weeks, where you just feel off? Your energy's in the tank, your mood is a bit of a roller coaster, and you just don't quite feel like yourself. Now, there can be a lot of reasons for that, for sure. But today, we're going to explore one really powerful, kind of invisible force that could be at play: your hormones. So what even are hormones? Well, think of them like your body's project managers. They're these tiny chemical messengers that zip around telling your cells exactly what to do. And they control pretty much everything: your metabolism, your energy, your mood, the whole shebang. When they're all working in harmony, you feel amazing. And when they're not, oh, you definitely feel it.
Okay, so the big question is, how do we keep them in harmony? How do we get that balance right? Well, what if I told you one of the most powerful control panels for all these messengers is sitting right in front of you at every single meal? Yep, we're talking about your plate.
It's a simple idea, but it's actually pretty profound when you think about it. The nutrients, fats, and all those compounds in the food we eat, they aren't just fuel to get us through the day. They are the actual building blocks and the instruction signals that our body uses to make and regulate our hormones. It is a real, direct, biological conversation. And just like any conversation, some things help it along, and some things, well, they can disrupt it. On one side, you have these absolute superstars, nutrient-dense foods like avocados, leafy greens, and fatty fish that really support hormonal health. But on the other side, you've got things like processed foods, excess sugar, and alcohol, which can interfere with that process and throw that delicate balance out of whack. To really get a handle on this, let's zoom in on one key hormone as our case study today: testosterone. Now, you might hear testosterone and think it's just a guy thing, but nope. It is absolutely crucial for energy, muscle mass, and vitality in both men and women. And it's the perfect example of how diet plays a direct role. And here's why this really matters, especially over time. For men, testosterone production can actually start to decline by about 1% every single year after the age of 30. Now, 1% might not sound like a lot, but believe me, it adds up. That makes understanding how to support your body with diet not just an interesting idea, but an increasingly important one. So where does food come in? Let's look at three absolute powerhouses. First up, oysters. They are just packed with zinc, which is non-negotiable for producing testosterone. Then you've got salmon, bringing in those amazing omega-3s to help reduce inflammation and support the whole process. And of course, leafy greens, which provide magnesium, another key mineral for regulating hormone levels. And the list goes on. We're talking about eggs, avocados, almonds, pumpkin seeds, even broccoli. Each one brings something unique to the table, from healthy fats and vitamins to compounds that help balance other related hormones. I like to think of it as building a supportive team right there on your plate. Okay, so we know what foods can help. That's the practical part. But now we get to the really cool part: why they work. We're about to connect the dots all the way from the food on your fork down to the tiny molecules inside your cells. This is where it gets really fascinating. Think about this for a second. What could parsley, broccoli, apples, and even chamomile tea possibly have in common when it comes to hormone production? They seem totally random, right? Well, it turns out they all share a kind of secret weapon: a very specific class of powerful, natural compounds. Meet the flavonoids. These are potent little compounds found in many of the healthy foods we just mentioned. And it turns out their specific chemical structure allows them to interact directly with our body's own hormone-making machinery. And this, right here, is where it all connects. You see, specific flavonoids like chrysin, which you find in honey and chamomile, or luteolin in leafy greens, and quercetin in broccoli, have all been shown to increase the expression of something called the star protein. Now, you're going to want to remember that name, star protein. It is the key. So, let's go even deeper. What on earth is this star protein, and what does it do? We're going inside the cell right now to look at the actual production line for hormones like testosterone. The official name for the process is steroidogenesis. Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it's really just a fancy way of saying the making of steroid hormones. And the single most important raw material for this entire process is a molecule we all know and hear a lot about: cholesterol. But here's the bottleneck. For cholesterol to be turned into a hormone, it has to get inside the cell's little power factories, the mitochondria. And getting it through the door, that is the single most critical speed-limiting step in the whole assembly line.
If cholesterol can't get in, production slows way down.
So let's break this down into a simple 4-step story. Step 1, you have your raw material, cholesterol. Step 2, you have a gatekeeper controlling access to the factory, that is our star protein. Step 3, flavonoids from foods like broccoli and leafy greens act like a key, activating that star gatekeeper and opening the gate wider. And this lets more cholesterol in. Step 4, with more raw material, the factory can efficiently produce the final product, testosterone.
So here's the crucial point. Flavonoids from our food can boost the activity of the star protein. A more active star protein means more cholesterol gets to the assembly line, which means more efficient hormone production. That right there is the direct molecular link.
Okay, let's zoom back out. We've gone from the dinner plate all the way to the inside of a cell, and now we're going to bring it all back together. What does this mean for you every single day?
It creates this clear, powerful chain of events. When you eat flavonoid-rich foods, you can help increase your star protein activity, which in turn supports your body's own natural hormone production. It's this beautiful biological cause and effect.
This totally changes how we think about healthy eating, doesn't it? It's not just some abstract concept anymore. It's about providing targeted support for the actual molecular machinery that keeps your body in balance. I absolutely love this way of thinking about it. Every single meal, every snack is part of an ongoing conversation with your body's internal chemistry. The goal is simply to make it a good, supportive conversation.
And that is incredibly empowering. It means you're not just a passenger on this ride. You have a direct, daily influence on your own well-being. The power to support your body's balance truly is on your plate.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If food can do all this for our hormones, what other incredible secrets and superpowers are just hiding in plain sight, right on our plates, just waiting to be discovered? Thanks for joining me on this explainer.